Hi, and welcome back to World of Wilson. This is Wilson again. You just got done listening to Lisa and Daniel Flores reading excerpts from Daniel's book, South of Heaven, his memoir about his experience in Afghanistan. Dan, Lisa, welcome.
Hello.
Thanks.
How are you doing today?
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. Dan, I have to ask you, how did it feel getting off that plane? You've been gone for 6 months.
Wow, that was an incredible experience. Like I said, I'd just gotten into a pretty intense battle the week prior, and the week prior, after that, before I came home, there was plenty of classes that I had to go to try to prepare us to get ready to meet our families. So yeah, it was. I was getting pretty anxious, pretty scared to come home, and. But once the ball started rolling and I was on the aircraft coming home, it was time went by really, really fast. Everything really kind of came to an end there as I was coming up the walkway, getting off the plane, and butterflies in my stomach. I was nervous as could be. I didn't know what to expect. Things were already rolling so fast, it was hard to keep up with them. But once I got to the end of the walkway, I looked straight ahead, and there was Lisa, beautiful as could be, and then off to their side I could barely tell, but it was Shelby and Eric, and they were holding some kind of sign and smiling. But it was an incredible sight, an incredible feeling to finally be home after going through all that combat.
Lisa, he's been gone at this point 6 months. All the experiences that you are having, your family and everything.
Mm-hmm.
How did you cope with him being gone?
You have to take it one day at a time. You really have to take it one day at a time and just get through each day and focus on what's important for that day. And I kind of tried to put in the background the fact that I couldn't contact him, about things, and the family was really, really supportive, and my friends, so that was very helpful. And the kids and I relied on each other a lot. They kind of had to grow up a little tiny bit then too, and so you just do what you have to do every day.
You've come back from Afghanistan, and you have these amazing videos and pictures. At what point did you decide, I need to write this down?
Wow, that's a really good question. I never ever envisioned writing a book, but I just wanted to take the videos and the pictures to remember Afghanistan. I really didn't want to go back, to tell you the truth. But then I realized that I needed to save them for my kids and for my grandkids and anybody else on down the road as to what really happened there in Afghanistan. It took about a year after I came back that, after showing some of the videos to friends and stuff, that Sandra had come up to me and said that, you know what, you need to write a book to go with this. And at first I was very, very reluctant because writing, that's just not my forte. But she helped me out, and writing the book was definitely a project that was a lot more involved than I ever expected. I'm so glad I did it at the end, though, because I've had so many people tell me how much they appreciated knowing what really happened there.
Dan, I know it's been hard for you. You've had to self-publish your story, South of Heaven. What kind of advice can you give to any other potential writers out there, people that want to do something like this?
Yeah, self-publishing was actually my second option, which ended up being my first option. I had originally purchased a book on writing a book. I actually pitched the actual idea of my book, of my memoir, to several literary agents who, most of them said that sounded interesting, it looked good, but they were not interested in it. Instead of stopping there and saying, well, enough of that, I decided, well, I'll go the self-publishing route. I have several friends that have self-published books, and, well, when all's said and done, the book was done my way, as I wanted it to have been done by self-publishing.
So what are some of the things that you've had to do to promote your own book on your own?
Actually, promotion, that is the big part of self-publishing, because you don't have the huge corporate world promoting the book for you. So I was actually very, very blessed in the year the book came out. I was invited to several book signing events before the book was even published. And one was at the air show, the Wings Over Houston, and people were asking me about my book, and that really generated interest on my part to finish the book up as fast as possible. But self-publishing on that, or self-promotion I should say, everything really fell in my lap, so to speak. The military channels segment on My War Diary, I had that to put out there for people to generate interest. And the Armed Forces Network infomercial on the gunnery range, that was another produced segment from my videos that was out there to generate interest on my book. So, like I said, I wouldn't say I was cheating, but my all of my promotion pretty much fell in my lap.
During the time that you've been back, your family has been extraordinarily busy. You come back from Afghanistan, you're reintroduced to your family, you got to get to know each other again. You have to go back to work full-time at your regular job, because as I understand, you were just in the reserves, which you've now retired from.
Yeah.
How did you cope with writing a book, both of you? How did you support Daniel in doing this? And
it was and you say that about him coming back and getting back into his life, because it really was a transition. It was a huge transition for him to come back from that environment and back into the home environment and start being dad and husband again. It's a big change. And it was a big change for us because we weren't used to him being around all the time, and now he's back again, and everybody has to readjust their schedule and get back into the family life the way it was, and that was a big adjustment. And then when he started writing the book, at first I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah. I wasn't sure, at first if I really was totally into, him writing a book.
you didn't want to give up any time that you already have with him?
Yeah, I thought, and that's exactly it. I thought, gosh, how much time is this going to take away now? He's just been away. Now he's back. Now, we're going to be doing this. And so, yeah, I did. But then, as he got into it, and it was, more interesting. And
Yeah, as I was reading her or asking for Lisa's input on several of the chapters, she was reading it going like, wow, that's interesting. But as she stated later that I wrote pretty much everything that happened. And for her to finally read that for the first time, those were stories that I never said that needed to be out there. And so I could tell on her face and by her emotions that I was like, oh, wow, you did all that. And wow, you did this. And oh, wow, that happened. So there was there was some hesitation on my part also. But then I thought, this is not for me. This is for my kids. And when I'm long gone, they'll be able to look back on this and say, this is what really happened.
And I realized that he needed to write that down, too. There were things that he hadn't said to me and hadn't told, and he needed to get those out and down somewhere, and that was the perfect medium for him to do that.
And that's what yeah, that's exactly right. I've talked to several World War II veterans that they said the same thing. They had repressed all their stories for all these years, and to finally put them on paper took it off their chest. And I can truly say that when this book was finished, it was a huge weight off my chest and off my back to just get it out there, and that's it. I don't have to repeat these stories from memory and all. And like I said, I kind of cheated on the book, so to speak, because I have the videos for pretty much every chapter, and whenever I came to a part where what happened that day, I could watch the video and say, oh, that's right, I remember this and remember that. So, I say my part of the book was easy. The other part, like you were saying, was coming back. I already had to deal with the 2 injuries I had from combat, getting back to work, so I had to get back into flying the jet and the regular civilian helicopter. I was still in the reserves at that time, so I still had to get back in the Apache. Things were pretty hectic, and as a matter of fact, that's why I had a lot of hesitation about writing a book, because I was thinking, where am I going to get the time for this? And eventually what ended up happening, most of my writing was done on my temporary duty assignments with work where I was gone for 2 weeks here or 3 weeks there, and I had time to be away from the house and everything at home, go to work, finish work, and then just work on the book in the evenings. So that helped out a lot.
Daniel, where can people find your book?
Well, my book is actually available through the Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, all the major book houses, but iUniverse.com is the actual publishing company that has my book. And my website is www.danielsoutofheaven.com. And on that I have several of my videos, the book trailers and stuff that go with the book. So that's where you can find more information on it.
Thank you so much for your service to our country. Lisa, thank you for supporting Daniel and all that he's done for our country, for your family, and as our friend.
Yeah. Thank y'all.
Thank you
You're
for being here. All right, everybody, that's all for World of Wilson of this week. And next week, we'll be talking with Marlon Lacayo. He is our producer and writer of our intro and outro music. Hit it, Marlon.